What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Jimmy. We back with another video, man. On today's video, we got everything you need to know before the Spurs and the Thunder series. Now, me personally, I know who gonna win. Spurs in 7, my boy. I ain't gonna lie, it's just like, first of all, if you go off the regular season record, the Thunder can't fuck with the Spurs, bro. They don't got nobody that can stop Wemby, gang. They damn near don't got nobody that can stop Stephon Castle. He is so underrated to me, bro. Like, Stephon Castle really got, like, he liked that game. Motherfuckers, I don't know. But shout out SGA though for getting the MVP, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, let's see everything you need to know before Spurs versus Thunder by hoop value, hoop venue. Let's check it out.
The matchup we've all been waiting for is finally here.
Yes,
Wemby
sir.
versus Shea.
Bro, we knew this shit was gonna happen too, bro. And I told y'all, I made a TikTok say, choose y'all finals winners now, bro. I chose the Spurs, I already knew, bro. Nigga Wemby, bro, he's the only nigga that's capable of passing Bron in his career, bro. Injuries is literally the only thing that's gonna stop him. So if he don't get injured, bro, he might just do it. It's still gonna be very, very hard. Don't get me wrong, cause this nigga with LeBron still doing it nowadays. We gonna see,
Spurs
bro.
versus Thunder. Top to bottom, the two best teams in basketball, not just this season, but for the foreseeable future. The storylines are endless. A rivalry is brewing. What we're about to witness is the highest level of basketball this league has to offer. But who actually has the edge? How can each team gain the upper hand? And who's punching their ticket to the NBA Finals? These are the questions we're going to be answering in today's video brought to you by Prize Picks. Starting with the fact that every series featuring San Antonio is going to be about how in the world you approach Wemby rim protection. Through 2 rounds, the Spurs have been one of the best playoff defenses ever during his minutes. They've held opponents to less than 100 points every 100 possessions, which is about 16 points better than average. For the most part, they've got a really simple scheme. Everything is built around keeping him at the basket.
Damn!
If there's a non-shooting big on the court, that's his matchup. Against pick and roll, he'll drop way back, while the on-ball defender fights over the screen.
Mind you, bro, they got Chet, bro. Come on, bro. He's no better than Rudy Gobert, my nigga.
Funneling them into the paint, where he's waiting. If the offense goes 5 out and he has to match up with the shooter, they want to keep him on the baseline at all times. So they'll pre-switch everything. He'll guard whoever's in the corner. From there, he can roam and protect the paint. Essentially, regardless of what the offense does, he's going to rotate.
Give me that shit.
And when he's there, it's pretty much all.
Give me that shit.
In the playoffs, players are shooting about 19% below their expected percentage when Wemby can test them within 6 feet of the basket. He's turning 65% shots into 45% ones. The Wolves tried so many different tactics in hopes of getting him out of it, from putting their best shooters in certain spots to going to extreme lineups, all sorts of different actions. Nothing worked because of his ability to cover ground. He could always get to the paint in time. As for the rest of the team, they're rotating around Wemby. They're really fast, with lengthy, athletic wings who can cover ground. They'll bring constant pressure and switch every action to keep someone in front of the ball. If they do get beat, Wemby's there. Then they'll peel off to the perimeter, rotate on a string, run shooters off the line, funnel them back into Wemby. All roads lead to him. But because you can't score at the rim, that means offenses live in the mid-range. We've seen this all season long. Against OKC, though, it isn't that simple. They're loaded with mid-range talent, which of course starts with Shea. He's one of the best mid-range scorers in NBA history. He's so efficient in that space that it sort of breaks the rules. The idea behind the Spurs approach is that you can make offenses settle for what are statistically bad shots. The problem is that for Shea, they're amazing shots. On average, teams shot about 43.5% from mid-range this season. Shea, on the other hand, shot 54%, more than 10% better.
Damn.
I want you to think about that in terms of points per attempt. For reference, the average half-court offense scored 0.98 points per possession. A 43.6% mid-range shot is worth about 0.87 points. So by forcing those looks, teams are, by default, starting at about an 11-point disadvantage. Shea's mid-range shots, 1.08 points per attempt.
Damn.
10 points better than the average half-court offense. You can't let him get clean looks.
I think it's about time for me to stop the hate on Shea, bro. It's not even hate, bro. I just be hating that flopping shit, G. Like, stop flopping, bro. But he do be getting buckets. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just like when he do be flopping, that shit be really pissing me off, gang. That's not basketball, bro.
If the goal the Spurs defense is to funnel Shea into Wemby and make him score from the mid-range, the Thunder are going to score a lot of points. And that's because he can access that space in every way imaginable. He'll get to his spots in isolation, from the post, or on a pick and roll, turning the corner, playing with pace, and finding it
over
open.
Wemby?
Personally, I think the Spurs are going to guard Shea exactly how they guarded Anthony Edwards after Game 1. Anytime Ant got the ball on the perimeter, they'd come with an immediate hard double to get it out of his hands. Now he has no space to drive or get to a pull-up jump.
But with the Thunder, though, they gonna pass that shit and they gonna score, bro. Like, you got Julius Randle, gang. He ass as hell. Terrence Shannon Jr. I gotta speak highly of you because you went to Atlanta. But, my nigga, it's the playoffs, bro. We ain't got time for all that cute shit. He ain't getting no bucket, gang. Nas Reed is their best option, bro. Like, come on, gang. The Thunder, they got hella options, bro.
While somebody else has to create against their rotations. This is also how the Lakers defended Shea, and it's pretty clear that the Thunder are way better at consistently beating doubles. That starts with the difference between Shea and Ant. Shea's a quicker processor and knows how to attack the double with his handle. So, although the goal is to make him get rid of the ball, at times he'll still get to his spots and force the issue himself. More importantly, though, he's just a better decision maker who takes much better care of the ball. As of right now, he's probably the most turnover-averse creator in the league. Show him as much pressure and length as you want. He'll find the open man and get the defense moving without losing possessions. After he makes the right decisions, that's where OKC really differentiates themselves from the Wolves the most. Spacing and ball movement. As soon as Shea draws a double, somebody's going to flash to the ball to make themselves a target. Then they're good enough scorers and passers to hit the right pressure points, beat rotations, and find open shots. Against the Lakers, that meant attacking the paint. But remember, against the Spurs, that's off limits. They'll have to find ways to create quality shots outside of the paint. That means they'll have to implement all of the right actions.
That really mean they gotta hit shots.
That put stress on perimeter defenders to make decisions instead of just letting them funnel the ball into Wemby. For example, one setup we saw them go to against LA was emptying one side of the court and having one of their shooters set a ghost screen slipping into that open space. They know a double's coming, so there's nobody to stop that shooter from getting a wide open three. Primarily, though, they just flatten the baseline and put their second best creator one pass away from the ball. Usually that's J-Dub, but he was out in round 2, meaning AJ Mitchell took the role. Because they're threats to get downhill and get to the rim or access the mid-range, you have to rotate to them. Then they'll put their best shooters one pass away from them. That's how you get the defense into a scramble. Which takes me back to what I said about OKC being loaded with mid-range talent. In theory, Mitchell catching the ball with space to attack isn't an issue as long as Wemby's waiting for him at the basket. He doesn't need to get to the rim to generate good offense, though. Against the Lakers, he made 58%. Yes, 58% of his mid-range shots. As for J-Dub, he's back now. He's one of the better mid-range creators in the league and can hit a ton of different shots at a good clip.
This nigga J-Dub is buns, my nigga. We gotta be real, bro. That nigga is buns, my nigga. Bro, De'Aaron Fox is literally gonna clamp this nigga up, bro. Stephon Castle, like, these are dogs. J-Dub ain't no dog, bro. You feel me? I don't know, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's why I say Spurs gonna win, though. J-Dub, that nigga is not all that to me, bro. They got Shea, and then they got a whole bunch. Like, that's the thing about the Thunder, though. Everybody on their team is decent. They not, like, garbage as hell. Because I ain't gonna lie, J-Dub, he not buns. But niggas just act like he's so fucking raw. Well, he's no better than De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, bro. I don't know, bro. That's just my take, though.
If Wemby has to help on a drive, iHeart should be able to get to his automatic push shot. If the Spurs get into rotation and Chet finds himself catching the ball against the closeout, he's really improved this part of his game. Going to 1 or 2 dribble pull-ups, turnaround jumpers, and he's too tall to contest. Also, their 2 best shooters, Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain, aren't limited to the 3-point line. Chase them off, they'll make you pay with 2-point jumpers.
Yeah, McCain, he got that motherfucker can shoot.
The goal is going to be similar to what it is against most teams. Of course, they'll want to keep Wemby in the paint at all times. They'll try to get the ball out of Shea's hands and trust their rotations. Instead of running every shooter off the line and funneling them inside the arc, though, I think they'll target specific guys that they want to take the 3. That's what we saw in their regular season matchups. They targeted Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, and Alex Caruso. The second time they faced, Dort attempted 8 threes. The third time, he attempted 7. Also in that third game, Caruso got up 12 threes in 19 minutes. He only made 2 of them. Over the entire season, Caruso's been just a 31% catch and shoot guy. That's not going to cut it. Wallace and Dort have been in that 35 to 36% range. They'll have to maintain that efficiency on increased volume. Also, I wouldn't be surprised to see them target Mitchell. Make him play from the three-point line instead of letting him attack downhill. If they can hit their threes, they should be fine. If not, their offensive execution will have to be perfect, like it was in their last healthy matchup against the Spurs. They did a really good job of engaging Wemby in certain actions and making him close to the three-point line by putting their best shooters in certain spots on the court. That opened things up for Shea, J-Dub, and Mitchell to get to their spots inside the arc, generate high-quality twos, and draw fouls. All that's to say, while I think Wemby can dictate a lot of what OKC wants to do, it feels a lot different than the Wolves series. It's not as simple as just rotating around him, switching every action, and running shooters off the line. They'll find the pressure points, move the ball, and hit shots. Instead, the other guys next to Wemby are going to be tested to make more real-time decisions.
So really, all this shit is based off Wemby, bro. That's how much of an impact this nigga really got on the game, bro. This nigga's tough, bro.
Closing out to certain spots on the court and letting other guys take shots. For the most part, they did a good job of that with Jalen Clark and Terrence Shannon Jr. in round 2. Can they do it with Caruso, Dort, and Wallace in the Western Conference Finals? Can they do it while keeping OKC's double big units off the glass? If so, the Thunder will be forced to make some tough decisions with their rotations. Shea, Dub, Mitchell, and Chet feel like the 4 obvious, most important players in this series for them. Outside of that, they can go in a ton of different directions. I think this will be a big Isaiah Joe series because of how much he's needed to space the floor and open things up. At times, I wouldn't be surprised to also see them turn to Jared McCain a little bit more than they want to, which trickles downstream into their effectiveness on the other side of the ball. But before we get into that, I want to take a second to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. If you know you can play, so it can happen in games like the X Factor. He averaged 20 pick number 2, going to a ton, and you get fit and let me him away from the rim. Their roster is absolutely loaded with guys who can apply downhill pressure.
Facts.
That starts in transition.
Dylan Harper, another one.
Early offense throughout the playoffs.
Look at that
With
shit.
Energy, speed, and skill to just break games wide open with
Him.
fast-paced
Hey,
buckets.
Carter Bryant is very underrated too. I ain't gonna lie. His defense, he got hella defense,
The
bro.
Thunder are one of the best transition defenses we've ever seen. They don't turn the ball over, so there aren't any easy runouts. They're always quick to get back, often with multiple rim protectors.
The fuck
So
was
there
that,
won't
Jackson
be
Hayes?
opportunities to catch them out of position. I think the Spurs are gonna lose their transition advantage. They'll have to find ways to access the paint in the half court. Luckily for them, they've got big, athletic guards in Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle who pose so many physical challenges.
Exactly.
Castle in particular has really had his way with OKC in their past matchups. Between his size,
tough.
change of speed, and explosiveness, he's virtually unfazed by their pressure and physicality.
And he a dog
At times,
compared to they
we've seen them
fucking
mix
big
things up
man,
by
bro.
putting a
I
big
mean,
on
they
him. But
guards.
he remained every bit
Besides Shea.
aggressive, looking to win with speed and using his lower body strength to separate with contact. Harper, on the other hand, isn't quite as explosive. He's still got great change of pace though. Along with his size, handle, and overall coordination, it's really tough to keep him away from the basket. And that's why I think it's tougher at times to play guys like Joe or McCain against them. The Spurs would start to look for them in every action, hunt for switches, or make them put 2 on the ball to create advantage.
Look at that shit.
That's how
Get your little ass off me, nigga. Get your little ass off me.
I'm actually really curious to see what the Thunder do with their matchups. I'd imagine they start Chet on Wemby in hopes of matching.
Hey.
but
Oh,
then
shit.
he's not in position to protect the rim. Not just because Victor's a
And Wemby spraying shit like that
bigger
too.
issue is that you can't take your eyes off of him for even a second without him diving to the rim. If he catches the ball within 8 feet of the basket, he's scoring.
Yeah,
so
literally.
they'll constantly involve him in the offense in different ways, whether that means screening, running around screens, spotting up and cutting, or floating along the baseline. At times, you have to
This
look
bro, it's like this nigga literally just throw that shit up. He gonna catch that shit, bro.
4-on-4, which means everything is about containing drives without needing
And one, De'Aaron Fox.
Check on Wemby, though. Who does iHeart guard? Castle? In the past, we've seen plenty of teams put centers on Castle. In round 1, the Blazers had Klingon guarding him. In game 6 of round 2, the Wolves' big adjustment was moving Gobert onto him. For the most part, the Spurs have figured out how to attack this. They'll make these centers either fight through screens or switch by running things through Castle at the point. Or they'll reverse the actions, having Castle screen to create space for somebody else to attack the big. The entire idea behind putting a center on Castle is that he's supposed to be their worst shooter. He's somebody who defenses are comfortable leaving open. The foot speed isn't much of a problem if you can sag way off and make him settle. The problem is that Castle hasn't been a bad shooter for a long time now, and I'm not sure if OKC is willing to take that gamble.
I was gonna say he not even a bad shooter. He just an okay shooter. Like, you feel me? He gonna knock some down. So if he get hot, it's raps, my nigga. So
Since February 1st, he's taken 146 threes. He's made 42% of them. He's been lights out in the playoffs.
like that's not bad.
And if he's hitting his threes, you have to step up, at least a little bit, which then makes it easier for him to win with speed. And at that point, it
Fuck
doesn't
up off
make any
me.
sense to
Yeah,
play big.
wine.
I'm curious to see how the Thunder approach that, or if Castle stops shooting at such a high clip. The only other option regarding Hartenstein would be to throw him on a shooter like Julian Champagne. Again, though, he's not going to be in position to help him.
Blow.
And
He
they'll
can
make him
shoot,
defend
too.
different screening actions, forcing the same sort of issues. It's important to remember, though, that's only in starting and closing lineups. If anyone of Keldon Johnson, Carter Bryant, or Harrison Barnes is out there, they shouldn't have a problem throwing Ihart on them. It's just specifically when they go to those lineups with 2 guards and 2 shooters, or 3 guards that they...
Oh my gosh. I've never seen that.
Always start
Just dunk the fuck out that boy.
I'm expecting the Thunder to go away from double big units in these situations.
Ooh.
Ihart can be more of a chess piece to use at certain points throughout the game. For example, he'll probably match all of Luke Cornett's minutes, neutralizing him on the glass and helping win those bench minutes. When the Spurs go to their best lineups, OKC probably goes smaller, throwing J-Dub at the 4 and getting a guy like Joe, Mitchell, or Caruso on the court. That would allow them to match up a lot more seamlessly. You can put a legit perimeter defender on Castle and wings on their shooters, while keeping size on Wemby. Or you can get creative, like they have in the past, and put a smaller defender on Wemby. Then switch everything, attack his center of gravity, and try to keep him from posting up or getting open in the paint. Either way, these smaller lineups are elite in rotation, and that's what's most important. They'll be able to switch for the most part. Anytime one of those Spurs guards gets downhill, they'll be able to bring help, close out on shooters, and force them to make tough decisions. That's not to say these smaller lineups don't raise new issues though. Firstly, there's a lack of secondary rim protection. If Chet or whoever is glued to Wemby can't help, those downhill guards pose a big issue. Resistance on the ball is everything for the Thunder in this series. If they can't contain drives, they'll be forced to overhelp from the corners, which is how the Spurs start to unleash their shooters. While OKC has the ability to field out the best point of attack lineups we've ever seen, their best defenders are their weakest offensive players. It'll be tough to find a balance. An even bigger issue than the lack of rim protection, though, is the lack of rebounding. Throughout the playoffs, we've seen a deliberate effort from the Spurs to have their wings crash the offensive glass. They're feasting on second chance opportunities. The Thunder have to box out, and they have to close possessions. Because if not, that's how the Spurs can start to access the highest percentage shots.
Ooh.
You might have noticed that throughout this entire video, I haven't mentioned De'Aaron Fox a single time.
Literally.
There's a reason for that. I wanted to give him a separate section outside of more schematic talk because I think he's the single most important Spur in this matchup.
Really?
Their offense runs through him and Castle. Those are the primary ball handlers. Against OKC, though, I think we'll see more of a shift to Fox over Castle because of ball security. Castle's a pretty turnover-prone creator. The Thunder are maybe the best team ever at forcing turnovers. That's a recipe for disaster. If you're letting them turn you over and create easy offense in transition, you're not winning the series. Fox is pretty turnover averse. He can handle a big offensive burden, get to his spots inside the arc, and create without losing possession.
I love Fox,
like
bro.
Castle and Harper, he's primarily looking to get downhill, but he doesn't have the same physical advantages. Obviously, he's fast. He's a lot smaller, though, both height and frame-wise. Whereas the other two should be mostly unfazed by OKC's pressure and physicality, he'll be tested to fight through it and still create consistently good offense. His play could go in one of two directions, in my opinion. If he's able to play at his own pace, get to his spots, and make the right decisions, he'll turn into an X factor. If the Thunder speed him up, and he starts to settle for long off-the-dribble jumpers, all of a sudden they're no longer stressed behind the play. No help, no rotation, no trouble on the glass. Him getting his game off could be the difference between winning or losing this series. Not just next to Wemby, running pick and roll, or winning his isolation matchups and forcing them to make decisions. But without Wemby, all season long, the story has been that the Spurs dominate whenever he's out there and often get played to a stalemate with him on the bench. Essentially, they wouldn't lose if they could play him 48 minutes every game.
Facts.
That's not possible, though.
Yeah.
His body and his conditioning as a 7'5" anomaly aren't capable of logging those numbers. It's still rare to even see him play 40. When he's not on the court and OKC goes to their super bench, De'Aaron Fox will have to be the separator. All things considered, the Spurs have to win this series on defense. That starts with getting the ball out of Shea's hands while keeping Wemby at the rim. If they can execute their defensive rotations to perfection, they should be able to funnel threes to OKC's weaker shooters. Also, I think it'll be important for them to win the rebounding battle. On offense, everything's going to be about finding ways to put pressure on the rim and free up their shooters while taking care of the ball. That starts with De'Aaron Fox performing like a star, and if so, they should be able to survive the non-Wemby minutes. As for the Thunder, it's pretty much the inverse. They need to find ways to get Wemby away from the basket, or at least engage him. Their spacing has to be intentional, which will help them move the ball against rotations. Shot making is the difference, though. Can you hit your shots from mid-range and from three? Defensively, they'll have to get back in transition, contain drives in the half court, protect the rim without overhelping, and most importantly, rebound. I personally think the series comes down to two key moments. Not specific moments, but stretches of play. There are 10 to 12 minutes a game that each team is playing without their best player. Which bench can deliver? Credit to the Spurs' depth. Right now, though, I have overwhelming confidence in OKC. Without Wemby, they can either lean into their double big units or go to I-Hart and shooters. These lineups, featuring J-Dub and Mitchell, are elite on both offense and defense. I trust them a lot more than the Fox-led units. The other key stretches I'm referring to are the closing minutes of close games. I'm expecting lots of nail-biters, games decided by less than 5 points. In these situations, Shea is the most inevitable creator in basketball. He's going to get to his spots.
And Wemby.
He's going to make the right decisions. He's going to knock down tough shots. Which brings me back to Fox. Can he lead a good enough offense in the clutch to keep up? It's definitely possible, but if I had to bet, I think the Thunder win more close games. They also have the ability to create more separation on the scoreboard in blowouts. Not only can they break games wide open by forcing turnovers, they're due for 1 or 2 hot shooting nights off of the open threes they'll be given. To me, this matchup screams 7-game series. And in a Game 7, anything can happen, especially between two teams of this caliber. All season long, these have been the two. All roads led to this matchup. Many would consider this a preliminary NBA Finals. Personally, I'm going with the Thunder in a tough 7 games, closing out the Western Conference on their home floor and making it to a second straight NBA Finals.
No, I ain't gonna lie. Me, I got the Spurs in 7, bro. Cause like, bro, there's no answer for Wemby, bro. 7'5", demigod. They can do everything on the floor, my nigga. But yeah, all the things he just said, you gotta take into account, bro. Like, if the Thunder hitting, it's gonna be hard to beat them, bro. But if the Spurs hitting too, oh my God, this gonna be a great series, my nigga. Like, this gonna be one for the ages, my nigga. This there might be the best final since shit. Probably since like, I mean, it's not even the finals. I'm tripping, but the best series in a while, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This gonna be one we all gonna remember, bro. Like I said, man, Spurs in 7. Appreciate y'all for watching. And we out. My shit was like this the whole time. Oh, hell no.